Hi everyone, this is another video in my gut health series, and today we are going to talk about intestinal permeability. It's also commonly known as leaky gut, and it can make you very sick and cause a constellation of symptoms. So I hope you'll stay tuned and get ready to dive in. Hi, I'm Dr. Var, and I am a board-certified family medicine physician, and I'm also certified in functional medicine. So imagine that your intestines are a long tube that connect your mouth to your bottom. And so whenever you eat anything, it goes through this tube. And so this tube is actually a barrier from the outside world and your bloodstream or body. And so as you eat, it gets digested through this tube and it gets broken down into smaller molecules. This tube then decides what small molecules should get across and into the bloodstream and what shouldn't and what should get eliminated. So some of these molecules are good for you, and these are the smaller ones like vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and some are not. Toxins, bacteria, and undigested food, and they tend to be larger particles. So how does the intestine keep out the bad stuff and only let the good stuff come in? Well, if you take a look at this graphic here, you can see on the normal gut, the enterocytes are close together and they are connected by something called a tight junction. So the enterocytes have a very important job because this tight junction has to be optimal. So that way, only small molecules can go through the cell, and these small molecules that can actually fit through the cell are vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And these are things that your body needs to grow and stay healthy. And the bad stuff, like the undigested food, toxins, chemicals, and bacteria, they are larger, so they tend to get eliminated into the waste. So this way, your enterocytes protect you from harm and help you get the most out of your food. But sometimes the enterocytes and their tight junctions can get weak or damaged, and this can happen for many reasons, which I'll explain later. And when this happens, the tube becomes more open and leaky, as you can see in the other photo of a leaky gut. And these tight junctions are compromised and widened. And we call this intestinal permeability or leaky gut. So those tight junctions between the gut cells are now open, and they can allow the bad stuff to get through, like bacteria, toxins, and undigested food. And when that happens, that triggers an immune response, and your body will make an antibody to that because it's trying to help you fight that off because it thinks the substance is foreign because it's not normally there. So what happens is this can trigger food reactions, food sensitivity if it's an antibody against a certain food. And then it can do the same thing to bacteria and toxins, and that can be not very good because there's something called molecular mimicry, where there are parts of the bacteria or toxin molecules that may look similar to our own tissues and joints. We may share some similarities in the structure. And so if your body is making an antibody to a particular bacteria, then it may actually attack that particular tissue or joint that has a similar structure. So then you get things like autoimmune disease. So for example, in rheumatoid arthritis, there is some thought that maybe there is a bacterial or viral infection that triggered an antibody, and that particular virus or bacteria may look similar to some of your joints. And so the antibodies that are meant to attack the bacteria or the virus actually attacks your tissues and joints because it's mistakenly thinking it's something foreign. And so you get autoimmune disease. So what causes leaky gut? And what causes these tight junctions to get looser and get compromised? So number one is stress, because what does stress not cause? Seriously. So when you're stressed, it releases cortisol, and cortisol in the acute stress will activate the sympathetic nervous system, and this is your fight or flight system. So it diverts blood flow away from the gut because it wants to conserve the blood flow for your skeletal muscles so you can get ready to run. But as a result of diverting blood flow away, it slows the gut down. So anytime you slow the gut down, you can be at risk for intestinal permeability. Chronic stress causes inflammation. So if you're chronically under stress, you're going to be chronically inflamed. And this can change your gut microbiome, which can compromise the intestinal barrier, because your gut microbiome has, it goes and makes substances that help heal your gut lining. It's called butyrate. So this is very protective of the gut. So if your gut microbiome is compromised, you're not making as much and you don't get that beneficial healing from not having butyrate around. Stress also can cause you to make bad choices. So your diet may not be as well. And speaking of diet is number 2 cause of leaky gut. So if you're eating the standard American diet, that's a very pro-inflammatory foods, because the standard American diet tends to have a lot of processed foods and sugary foods and things that just aren't very good for you, and it affects the gut microbiome. And also, if you drink a lot of caffeine or you drink a lot of alcohol, that can directly cause inflammation of the gut lining, and that can compromise your gut lining because it leads to inflammation. If you have food sensitivities or food allergies, that will also further exacerbate the leaky gut. You probably got the food allergy or food sensitivity from having leaky gut in the first place, but then if you continue to eat whatever you are sensitive to or allergic to, it will just trigger more inflammation and just further perpetuate the problem. So you're just in this vicious cycle. Infections is number 3. It can also cause intestinal permeability because it can cause a pro-inflammatory response. It can also release toxins that can directly damage the gut lining. And it also, of course, changes your gut microbiome. Number 4 is toxins. Those directly damage the lining and it can trigger inflammation. So, if you're exposed to heavy metals, environmental pollutants and chemicals, that can directly damage the lining. It also alters the gut microbiome. And then there's medications. So medications such as NSAIDs, proton pump inhibitors, chemotherapeutic agents, immunosuppressants, antibiotics, pain meds, steroids. So all of these affect the gut in a different way, whether it's reducing the acid production, so you impair protein digestion, it's changing the gut microbiome, or it's slowing the gut down. They can have an effect to increase leaky gut because of that. So intestinal permeability is not really recognized in traditional medicine, not yet anyways. There is a lot of research on it, but the problem is that it can take decades of research before something is brought into the traditional medicine realm. So that's kind of tough because there is a lot of research that have shown that this exists. And so, if we are aware of it, then we can treat it. So in a future video, I am going to talk about how to heal your gut from all of these different aspects. Last time I talked about digestion, today intestinal permeability, and next time I'm going to talk about gut microbiome. Because when you want to repair your gut health, you have to look at all these aspects. So, if you just heal your digestion and you have problems with intestinal permeability, your gut microbiome, you're going to still have problems because they all feed off of each other. So you need to really heal your gut from many different angles. So I hope this video was helpful and I hope it gave you information. But if you did like this video, please like it, please share it, and please subscribe, and please leave comments and some comments below, whether this was too confusing, whether it was a lot of information, whether it was good information. I really want to make these videos better so you can take this information to your doctor and help improve your health. And I think as more and more people are aware of functional medicine and some of the concepts from functional medicine, that we can really start to change the face of medicines, whether that's through you as a patient or as a provider if you're watching this. I think we need to do something because medicine is just not getting any better. People are getting sicker, and there's just more and more drugs made, and they work well, but it would be great if, you didn't have to be on 10 to 20 medications. So, I think the best approach to medicine is to do a combination of traditional and functional medicine, and I hope someday we're able to change that. Anyways, I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time when I talk about the gut microbiome.